In the Great Thousand World, even a heavenly flame ranked in the hundreds was considered insignificant. But when Xiao Yan revealed a flame that once devoured 21 others and stood among the top 3 of the 100 million flame rankings, even the strongest experts could no longer remain calm. This was not just a flame. It was the legacy of a legend from 10,000 years ago. If you enjoy my way of explaining and storytelling, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really motivates me to keep creating. Previously on the story, hearing Xiao Yan's question, Liu Beidao did not rush to answer. His tone remained calm, almost casual, yet every word that followed felt like a hammer striking Xiao Yan's understanding of the world. In your lower planes, there may also exist so-called flame rankings, Liu Beidao said slowly. Lists that rank the stronger flames of your plane by power. Many people there treat such rankings as absolute truth. He paused, then lifted his gaze as though looking past the sky itself. But those lists, he continued, are merely the shadows cast by a far greater reality. The true flame ranking is the 100 million flame rankings of the Great Thousand World. The moment those words fell, Xiao Yan's heart tightened subtly. He had always known that the Great Thousand World was vast, but he had never imagined it could redefine even something as fundamental as a flame status. The Great Thousand World, Liu Beidao explained, is the convergence point of all lower planes, the place where countless worlds intersect. And because of that, the 100 million flame rankings does not belong to any single plane. It gathers and measures flames across an unimaginable scale. His voice grew steadier, more absolute. The 100 million flame rankings collect all flames ranked within the top 100,000 from every lower plane and from the Great Thousand World itself. Ordinary flames from high-level planes might barely squeeze into the top 10,000, if they are lucky. Then Liu Beidao's eyes narrowed slightly and the air seemed to grow heavier. But the top 100 flames are different. Those simple words carried an inexplicable weight. They are far beyond what the lower planes can ever produce. Their existence surpasses the limits of origin itself. Such flames can only be born within the Great Thousand World. And naturally, they do not remain ownerless. Liu Beidao's expression did not change, but his meaning was clear. Every one of those flames is controlled by the major powers here. Only then did Xiao Yan truly understand. So that was the gap. So that was why. No wonder even the void-swallowing flame, a nightmare in the Dao Qi continent, a heavenly flame that once shook entire eras, was ranked only a little above 300 in this world. Compared to the 100 million flame rankings, the so-called heavenly flame ranking of the Dao Qi continent was almost laughable. A pond trying to measure the ocean. Xiao Yan's gaze sharpened. His mind turned rapidly, as if a door had been forced open, revealing a staircase leading upward into endless darkness and light. "Senior," he asked quietly, but with a restrained intensity, "have you ever seen this kind of flame?" A thought flashed through Xiao Yan's mind, and at the same time a dangerous certainty rose within his chest. The heavenly flames surrounding his body trembled, not from fear, but as if responding to a monarch's summons. One by one, strands of fire peeled away from the swirling inferno around him, converging toward his palm. The air warped. Space near his hand shimmered. Even the temperature seemed to lose meaning, as if heat itself was being rewritten. Moments later, a flame appeared in Xiao Yan's hand, its color constantly shifting, cycling through hues that no ordinary fire should ever possess. It was not merely bright. It was not merely fierce. It felt alive. A king standing at the center of countless flames. The king of 10,000 flames, the golden emperor flame, formed from the fusion of 22 heavenly flames. And in that instant, the surrounding silence became heavier than thunder. As Xiao Yan completed the fusion, the world around him seemed to stall for a heartbeat. The flame in his palm did not simply burn, it shifted, cycling through colors like a living spectrum, each transition carrying a pressure that made the surrounding air tremble. The space around his hand warped faintly, as if even the laws of the Great Thousand World were forced to acknowledge its presence. For a moment, Liu Beidao and the others remained frozen, still silent, unreadable. Then, as though a seal had been shattered, their expressions changed all at once. The previously calm Liu Beidao and the others suddenly revealed expressions of utter shock, their pupils tightening as if they had seen something that should not exist. Tusha Emperor Flame. The red-robed man blurted, his voice sharp with disbelief. Isn't this the flame of that person from 10,000 years ago? The words struck like thunder. Xiao Yan's brows furrowed instantly. Their reaction far exceeded his expectations, so intense that it bordered on fear. Yet what truly caught him off guard was the name itself. Tusha Emperor Flame. In the Do-Chi continent, it was simply the Emperor Flame, the king of 10,000 flames, born from the fusion of 22 heavenly flames. 10,000 years ago, Tuoshe, ancient emperor, had devoured 21 heavenly flames, forging the strongest emperor flame. But Xiao Yan had no idea whether Tuoshe, ancient emperor, had ever reached the great thousand world, much less left behind any legacy here. And yet, here in this place where flames were measured on a scale that dwarfed entire worlds, they called it Tuoshe Emperor Flame. That could not be coincidence. Suppressing the storm of thoughts in his mind, Xiao Yan steadied his breathing and asked carefully but firmly, "Senior, what is so special about this Emperor Flame?" The red-robed man stared at the flame in Xiao Yan's hand, as if afraid that blinking would make it vanish. He inhaled a sharp breath, one so cold it sounded like steel scraping against ice. "Tuoshe Emperor Flame," he repeated almost as though tasting the words. "It is an awakened flame spirit with true sentience. When that person first arrived 10,000 years ago, this flame's ranking was only around 160 on the 100 million flame rankings." His voice grew lower, more tense, as though what he was about to say carried weight even among experts. But it possessed an ability that made even great powers wary. It could devour other flames. The atmosphere seemed to tighten. To ordinary flames, devouring is impossible. Their nature is fixed. Their strength has limits. But this one, the red-robed man's gaze sharpened. This one was different. It did not merely burn. It grew. After thousands of years of continuous devouring, its power skyrocketed, rising at a speed that defied common sense until it finally broke into the top 5 of the 100 million flame rankings. Even Xiao Yan's heartbeat faltered at that. Top 5. In a ranking that gathered flames from countless lower planes and the great thousand world itself, top 5 was not a number. It was a myth. The red-robed man's expression darkened slightly, and his next words fell like a verdict. Later, it was subdued by the ancestor of the Flame Spirit clan, becoming their clan-suppressing divine flame. And now, he paused as if even saying it aloud could stir trouble. It is ranked 3rd on the 100 million flame rankings. Silence. Not because there was nothing to say, but because for a moment Xiao Yan could only stare at the flame in his hand, as if seeing it for the first time. If what the man said was true, then the flame he held was not merely a fusion of heavenly flames. It was a legend, a threat, and a key to power that could shake the great thousand world itself. Xiao Yan was instantly shaken. He knew Tuoshe, ancient emperor, cultivated the 5-wheel glass flame art, but he had never imagined that such an unknown grade technique could allow a heavenly flame to grow to such a terrifying extent. Tuoshe, ancient emperor, was undoubtedly the strongest expert the Do-Chi continent had ever produced. Xiao Yan asked, "So you mean the Tuoshe Emperor Flame is now within the Flame Spirit clan?" "Correct." "What kind of clan is the Flame Spirit clan?" Xiao Yan continued. "Ha ha ha, little brother. If we keep talking, night will fall before we finish." Before the red-robed man could answer again, Liu Beidao laughed. "The great thousand world is vast beyond imagination. Even if we pooled all our knowledge together, it still wouldn't be enough to explain everything. Since you saved my grandson today, would you be willing to visit my 6th profound sect as a guest?" Indeed, the red-robed man echoed with a smile. "The situation of the great thousand world is far too complex. We could talk for months and still not finish. If there is nothing else, I shall take my leave first. Little brother, if you are interested, you are always welcome to visit the Falling Star Pavilion." This old man would be most delighted. The white-robed elder smiled at Xiao Yan from afar. With a wave of his hand, his figure vanished into the void, leaving behind a teasing remark. Liu Beidao, you old fox, don't trick the kid into joining your sect. That wouldn't be fair to the rest of us. Liu Beidao merely smiled without replying. Xiao Yan bowed respectfully toward the direction where the elder disappeared. If you wish to learn more about the Great Thousand World, you can do so at the Sixth Profound Sect. The Sixth Profound Sect is one of the 10 guardian forces of the Luo God clan, constantly engaged in warfare, and far more knowledgeable about this world than we are. The red-robed man spoke, then moved his figure shooting toward the distant horizon. My trading pavilion still has many matters to handle. I won't stay longer. Nearby, the purple-robed woman stretched lazily. She had merely watched the entire time. Looking at Xiao Yan, she smiled charmingly. Little brother, I'd like to be friends with you, nothing formal. Your talent is extraordinary. In the future, remember to take good care of this elder sister. With a flirtatious smile, her figure vanished into the void. As everyone departed, the once lively sky became empty again. Hehe, let's go. Liu Beidao smiled at Xiao Yan and led Liu Tianhuang toward the distant mountains. Xiao Yan followed. Sixth Profound Sect territory. Within a mountain range of the Western Heaven Domain, massive clusters of buildings towered into the sky, clearly the territory of a powerful clan. Suddenly, space above the mountains twisted, forming a spatial gateway. 3 figures slowly emerged. Xiao Yan gazed at the mountain range belonging to the Sixth Profound Sect. Its imposing presence was not inferior to any ancient clan of the Doqi continent. Welcome, little friend Xiao Yan, to the Sixth Profound Sect. Treat it as your own home. Liu Beidao spoke casually and flew toward a gigantic pavilion at the center of the mountains. When Xiao Yan entered the Heaven Pavilion, he could not help but praise it inwardly. The grandeur of the Sixth Profound Sect was no weaker than the Gu clan or Hun clan. At that moment, something on the wall ahead caught Xiao Yan's attention. It wasn't a weapon rack nor some grand mural of battle merits, but a single pattern, carved and inlaid with such precision that it seemed to breathe with quiet authority. A flame totem, 6 distinct colors intertwined within it, not chaotic, but perfectly balanced, like 6 different laws being forced into harmony. The longer Xiao Yan stared, the more he felt an inexplicable pull, as though the totem was not merely decoration, but a symbol of inheritance, or even a warning. A faint sense of pressure lingered around it, subtle enough that ordinary disciples might never notice, yet sharp enough that Xiao Yan's instincts immediately tightened. Behind him came a warm chuckle. "Ha ha, little friend Xiao Yan," Liu Beidao said, his voice relaxed, almost modest. "Our sect's layout isn't particularly luxurious. I hope you won't laugh at us." Xiao Yan withdrew his gaze from the flame totem and turned with a faint smile. "In my world," he replied honestly, "this would already be considered top tier." It wasn't flattery. It was fact. Even compared to the grand ancient clans of the Doqi continent, the Sixth Profound Sect possessed a scale and aura that made it feel like a fortress built to withstand eras, not years. The buildings alone carried the weight of history, and the air itself seemed cleaner, thicker, richer, as if the land had been refined by countless generations of cultivation. Xiao Yan hesitated for a fraction of a second, then asked what had been pressing on his mind ever since he entered this domain. "Junior has a question. Are all these continents under the Luo God clan's control?" Liu Beidao answered without the slightest hesitation. "Of course," he said matter-of-factly. "The Luo God clan currently possesses over 2,700 continents." The words landed like a heavy blow. Xiao Yan involuntarily inhaled sharply. Over 2,700. Not cities, not territories, not regions, continents. He had thought himself mentally prepared for the vastness of the Great Thousand World, but this number still shattered his sense of scale. In the Doqi continent, a single ancient clan controlling a handful of major regions was already terrifying. Yet here, a single clan ruled a domain that could swallow countless lower planes whole. To rule over thousands of continents each likely comparable to hundreds of lower planes combined, and for such an enormous territory to be controlled by a single clan. Xiao Yan's eyes narrowed slightly, his mind racing. Just how terrifying was the true strength of the Luo God clan? If even the Sixth Profound Sect was merely one of their guardian forces, then what did the clan's true core look like? What kind of monsters sat at the top of that bloodline? A name surfaced in Xiao Yan's memory, one he hadn't planned to ask so soon, yet could not suppress. He looked up and spoke carefully. Within the Luo God clan, is there an elder named Luo Tianshen? The moment those syllables left Xiao Yan's lips, the atmosphere changed. Not violently, but distinctly. Liu Beidao's body stiffened as if struck by an invisible needle. His expression shifted in an instant, the calm on his face cracking like thin ice. The color drained slightly from his features, and something raw surfaced in his eyes, something that Xiao Yan instantly recognized. Fear, not caution, not respect. Fear that came from knowing. Lord Tiansen, Liu Beidao repeated, his voice turning sharp, almost involuntary, as though he hadn't meant to speak so loudly. Xiao Yan's heart sank. He hadn't expected such a violent reaction, not from a man like Liu Beidao, someone who had remained composed, even when facing the Tuoshe Emperor Flame's legend. For Liu Beidao to react like this, that name was not ordinary. Xiao Yan steadied his tone, but the tension in his chest was undeniable. Is there, he asked slowly, something wrong with Luo Tianshen? That's all for today's content. See you in the next part. Support me by becoming a member. It will give me more motivation. Thank you so much.